So I know members have a host of different questions, so let me begin by asking a question that I raise in every committee that I'm privileged to serve on when I have a member of the cabinet in front of us. And this is the issue of the Arctic, because we recognize, perhaps not every day, but I certainly recognize that we are an Arctic nation. We're an Arctic nation because of my state, but this is not Alaska earmarks. This is not just Alaska we're talking about. We're talking about the role that the United States of America plays with its other Arctic partners, whether it is on issues of environment or research or development or indigenous peoples or defense. This is a significant part of the globe, and I'm trying to make sure that from the government perspective, we recognize that there is a role there. As you know, we had previously within the department an Arctic Energy Office. We, in the Appropriations Committee, certainly moved to help advance that last year. My hope would be that that is something that within the department there is some recognition or consideration of reopening that Department of Arctic Energy Office. We know that it's not just one office, though, that can constitute a policy initiative. When you were up in the state, and again, I thank you for the visit that you made, but shortly after you left, we had a conference at the University of Alaska Fairbanks. We hosted the National Lab Day. We had many of the directors of our national labs, and it was a great reminder of the collaboration that goes on with our labs and our universities. That's certainly one way that we can help to facilitate and do more when it comes to shining the light on Arctic issues. I raised last week at the appropriations hearing the fact that we have only 2 Indian Energy Office employees in the whole state of Alaska. We'd like you to take a look at that. But can you give me, from the perspective of the Department of Energy, how you are prioritizing or recognizing the role that we play in the Arctic?
Senator, thank you. I think it's important to come and to put boots on the ground, so to speak, to be there to see what all is going on in a particular part of the country. Being from the relatively tropical part of the United States, and my history being in Texas and what have you, although I had been to Alaska a number of times, both as an Energy Committee member back as a State House member, to be there with you, to go not only up on the North Slope, but also to go into the community of Old Harbor and sit and talk to the Burns family about the challenges that they have there, and recognize that the United States is an Arctic nation. And I think that's sometimes very important for us to recognize that the United States is an Arctic nation. So the commitment to that region, and to recognize the valuable resources that are encompassed in that area, and the unique challenges that has. Kevin Foster, who runs our Office of Indian Affairs, is very, very familiar with that area, and let's expand the conversation about the office up there and the personnel side of it. But I want to make sure that the people of Alaska know that, number one, we understand the challenges and the uniqueness of it, but there are a lot of pieces of this puzzle, if you will. The architecture of Arctic is and is part of the DOE's mission. So, developing those resources, the rare earth minerals that are in that area, and the innovation. You and I have talked about advanced reactors and how they can play a unique role, up to and including micro reactors out on the Adak Peninsula for some defense needs out there, and frankly for some of the the private sector needs as well. We're going to assure you that the department, through its partners and its activities, will continue using those Arctic energy resources in a very productive way. Nettles Arctic Energy Office is going to continue to coordinate with academia and other government agencies to demonstrate the value of Alaska's fossil fuel resources, as well as hopefully some of our nuclear. Obviously, what you're doing on wind that we saw in the battery storage side of this. And I will just make mention that I think in the last 2 years, this country has increased its solar energy production by 90%. So, and all of the above strategy, of which the Arctic is going to play an important role, is not lost on us.
Well, I appreciate that, and I'd welcome further conversations about the specifics, and again, my continued interest in an Arctic Energy Office, recognizing that this goes far beyond just Alaska. But I know that you have been invited, certainly by the Arctic Circle Assembly. This is an annual gathering in Iceland of those that are interested in all things Arctic. But for you to speak to the level of innovation, it's a conference that I have attended on numerous occasions. I believe Senator King has joined as well, but something that you might want to consider. So I'll look forward to further discussions on that.